Hi, this is Rabbi Zach from Der Nister. I want to present you with a weekly series on insights of spiritual value from medieval Jewish philosophy. The first one I want to go with is the one that got me into all of this in the first place. After I found a copy of Maimonides' Guide for the Perplexed, written in the 1100s or 1200s, I believe, at a St. Paul, Minnesota bookshop. I was entranced by it because it attempted to reconcile reason and science with religion, and specifically the intricacies of Judaism. And after I read the whole thing, I was really moved by it, and it put me on my journey to becoming a rabbi in the first place. What I found interesting about it was that after I read it and I heard people's opinions of it, they said, well, Maimonides believes in a God that's very distant from us, a God that can't be defined and is not really present with us on earth, a God that is distant. And when I read his work, I found very much the opposite impression, because he exhorted the reader to do a couple of different things that I found moving and inspiring. One was to not just rely on one's imagination, but to really think through the nature of God. That the fact that God can't be defined by any specific attribute is not a sign of distance to me, or I think to him, but rather of a chance to exist in a state of bliss, in a state of absurdity, where every time you imagine something, you can't any longer hold on to that idea about God, and instead are left with the bliss of existing in a state of mind that has considered a possibility for God and moved past it and moved beyond it. He said that the highest level of prophecy given to Moses was not one mixed in with imagination, but with pure rationality and pure thought. And often when we think of pure thought, that's a very distant feeling from emotionality and spirituality. But Rambam, Maimonides, thought that was the most direct path, and not because it would lead you to a place that was far away from God, but actually one that would bring you close. And the method he suggests to be able to do that is to not dance around, not move violently, not run to your imagination, but to lie in your bed and be still, to meditate. He quotes this from Psalms every time he thinks someone is confused about something, but he was really making a suggestion to calm down and to just accept the beauties of the world that are beyond our imagination, and let our reason say to us, wow, I can't believe I'm standing on this part of the earth and someone is standing on the other end. Someone that a line could theoretically come close to one another and yet extend for infinity, never touching each other by mathematics, that there are things beyond our imagination. He said the ultimate prophecy is to exist in this state and to be not distracted by the influences, the physical influences of this world that would lead us astray, that are the needs that we have on a day-to-day basis, the troubles that we're fighting through at any given time, he says serve as distractions. And that seems almost demeaning, but I take it to say that there is an answer, there is an escape, there is God. There is God that can bring you above all of these. But he says, most importantly, you have to want to go there. You have to want to find God. But he promises that if you take this meditation, that if you strip away what you see and simply go to a state of pure reason, but not cold, not calculating reason, but one that says, God is this, but therefore can't be, let's go beyond that. Let's go beyond that. Go there, he says, and you will ascend to the levels of the prophets who, as they grew older and became more detached from the things that hold them back from this beautiful unity from God, they died with a kiss. Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. They died with a kiss because they experienced a truth by wanting it. Because he says at the end of the book, and when I read this, I was really, really moved. I was crying. I remember it so distinctly because I was struggling a lot in my life. I struggled a lot in college. Things got me down. I got so confused about everything. And I just wanted peace. I wanted to know what was really out there. I was struggling with what the truth really was, and my struggle wasn't it wasn't well received the way it came through me. But he said this, in quoting Ashrei, quoting Psalms, if you seek God with all of your heart, you will find God. God will find you. Karov Adonai l'chol korav achol l'chol asher yikru be'emet. God is close to all who come close. All who come close in truth, honestly. And this honesty about coming close to God means it doesn't come from a desire to experience ecstasy. It doesn't require being carried away in one's imagination or being lost, but simply to have the will to reject what is around you and be still and calm and say, no matter what's going on, COVID may it be, or all kinds of extreme things that are going on in this world, we will find peace and we will find unity with a higher truth that will guide us through the rest of our lives, with the simple desire to know God, know what is not really defined, know what is unknowable, and to walk into this castle, to this throne room that Rambam imagines, where those who truly seek God will find God. Rambam's presence of God in this world is not one that is reserved for the fortunate or the lucky. It is not one that is reserved for the special or the anointed. It's for anybody who has the wherewithal to say, no, I've had enough of being torn by the passions of the moment. I'm ready to lie on my bed and be still, and to want to seek God with everything I can. And so in this way, Rambam's cold and dispassionate God, a God needed to be inquired by intellect, is in fact the most democratic God, the most immanent God in my experience, in my imagination. And it's with this I present to all of you the possibility of being still and seeking the emotional not balance, I would say, but the equanimity to find God in the most harrowing of moments, because you can trust, that God will indeed be there. So thank you for listening.